Hi everybody, my name is Miro. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I wanted to talk about RSP and specifically RSP withdrawals, since we're getting a lot of questions about these penalties that you have to pay when you're taking monies out of RSPs and other misconceptions that people have about withdrawing monies from RSP. The reality is that there is no penalty to pull money out of your RSP, but all withdrawals are obviously taxable. So you can pull money out of your RSP at any time while you're working or in retirement. There is no difference as far as taxation. It's just that every dollar that you pull out of the RSP is taxed at your highest marginal tax rate. There are only two exceptions. If you're pulling funds for the home buyer's plan, that is a loan that you have to repay over 15 years, but that is a tax-free event. And also the lifelong learning plan, same idea, it's a loan that you have to repay later on into the RSP. Let's talk about some very basic features of the RSPs. And generally what we say is that you love your RSPs when you're making contributions because every dollar that is contributed to your RSP is fully tax deductible. So RSP is a tax deferral mechanism. Once you start pulling funds out of the RSP, whether it's while you're working or later on in retirement, every dollar that you pull out will be fully taxable. So RSPs really only make sense if you are in a higher tax bracket while you're making contributions than later on when you will be making withdrawals. Let's talk about RSP withdrawals further, and let's talk about a couple of case studies and in what situations you might want to consider actually making withdrawal from your RSP even if you did not need those funds. Well, first of all, as I said earlier, any funds that you pull out of your RSP is fully taxable at your highest marginal tax rate. So if somebody earns a $50,000 employment income and that person decided to take $10,000 out of their RSP, well, that $10,000 gets added onto the $50,000 and all of a sudden you have $60,000 taxable income. So that's not a great scenario, but let's look at a scenario where for whatever reason you are in a lower tax year. You might be between jobs, you might be taking a year off, possibly maternity leave. Well, the first $20,000 is pretty much tax-free in Canada. So if your taxable income is lower than $20,000, obviously it would be very logical to pull some funds from the RSP in that year. Or if your income is substantially lower than your normal taxable income, you could consider going into your RSP to take some funds out. The other scenario when you might want to consider withdrawing funds from an RSP is if you retire early. If you retire anytime before the age of 65 or even prior to the age of 71, because as most people know is that by the age of 71 you must convert your RSP to a RIF, and then the following year, age 72, you must pull out about 5.5% out of your RIF, and this number increases on an annual basis as you get older. So very often for tax planning, retirees are actually better off pulling funds out of their RSPs right after retirement just to reduce their taxation over several years, and then even if you do not need these funds to fund your retirement, you might want to consider pull funds out of the RSP, trigger some taxation, invest those funds in your TFSA if your TFSA is not maxed out, or in a non-registered account. And very often this strategy will actually help you reduce your overall tax bill. Now, you could also, just keep in mind, you could also convert just part of your RSP to a RIF, and then if needed, you could actually convert your RSP back or convert your RIF back to an RSP as long as you do this prior to the age of 71. So it is a fairly flexible strategy, but making early withdrawals from an RSP very often will reduce your overall tax bill. So again, the bottom line is there is no penalty to pull funds from your RSP, but do keep in mind that all withdrawals are fully taxable at your personal marginal tax rate. Please like the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We'll be releasing videos on a weekly basis. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.